Hey guys, what's up? It's JR Cuber, and you're watching my full review of the Shengshou Aurora 2x2. The Shengshou Aurora 2x2 is $8 from thecubicle.us. The cube is the same size as most main brand 2x2s, making it exactly 50mm across. Since the cube is made by Shengshou, it did come with those ugly Shengshou shades, which I immediately replaced with my preferred shades from the cubicle. Being the Shengshou Aurora 2x2, you wouldn't be wrong in believing that this cube turns just like an Aurora 3x3. Well, that is partly true. When slowly moving the puzzle, yes, it does feel like an Aurora. It's smooth, silky, and buttery just like the Aurora, but when performing algorithms and doing solves, the cube just feels cheap. The pieces are super wobbly and the turning is a lot more crispy. With the loose pieces, I think the feeling is just terrible. Corner cutting is pretty awful on this cube. Well, I guess it's not the worst, but a 2x2 of 2014, this is just unacceptable. It struggles to cut more than the curves, and reverses the same way. This bad corner cutting paired with the loose pieces don't help at all to solve lockup problems, which this cube does have. I find it a real struggle to smoothly perform algorithms on this cube, and more times than not, I get a bad solve time on an easy scramble because I get bad lockups through all the algorithms. However, this isn't always a problem. As a starter 2x2, this would be a solid choice. Because of the bad corner cutting, it teaches cubers to learn control over sheer speed. All of the new 2x2s and 3x3s coming out have insanely good corner cutting. New cubers who are getting these cubes are learning to rely on corner cutting more than they should. In my opinion, it's better to learn to control your cube than have insane TPS. Popping is not a problem on the Aurora 2x2. I've never had any sort of pop on this cube, internal or external. Taking the cube apart, it's clear to see why it doesn't pop and also why it's so wobbly. First of all, why it doesn't pop. The corner stalks are large, and the inner edges securely fit with the corners, tight enough to avoid any popping whatsoever. Second, why it's so wobbly. The core sits pretty far into the cube, at least compared to other 2x2s. This creates more room for the corners to move around freely. If you look at a cube like the Ling Po, the core sits just under the corners, right inside the cube. This eliminates the free movement, which is why the Ling Po, for example, is so stable. This concept applies for the Dian Fengxi and Wit2v1 2x2s as well, but not for the Wit2v2, which has a somewhat similar mech as the Aurora 2x2. Also, I would think the cube locks up mainly because the pieces are quite blocky and squared off, which is reminiscent of a lot of Shengshou puzzles. So overall, I can't recommend the Aurora 2x2 to everyone. This cube is a relatively decent cube for speed cubers, but for beginners, I think this cube is perfect. It will teach beginners how to control their 2x2, which is a very good skill to have. But as for speed cubers, this cube is just not good enough. You might be thinking at this point, is it a good cube for the $8 price tag? Well, I'd say it's okay for the price, considering it's half the price of a Dian, but if you want a real speed cube, I'd recommend the Dian or the Ling Po. The cube's major problem is that the core sits too far down into the puzzle, making the pieces wobbly. The pieces are also pretty blocky, making corner cutting terrible, causing really bad lockups. The lockups for me really limit my ability to get good times on this puzzle. So my overall grade on this cube is a 6 out of 10. While it's not the worst 2x2 out, it's really not great for speed cubers. But like I've said plenty of times, this is a good 2x2 for someone who wants to get into 2x2 as an event. So that's really all I can say on the Shengshou Aurora 2x2. If you'd like to purchase this cube, the link will be in the description. If you like this video, give it a like, and if you haven't already done so, like my Facebook page and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.